What's up, everybody? Alan here. With a tale from the trenches. All right, and some new stuff going into Material Manager, because I needed it, and maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a thing that you might need too. So I had a particular problem here in Signet. This is my strategy game I'm working on. Uh, if you're in the Dice Range Discord, you've probably heard about it. All right. Anyway, we're moving on. I have this problem. I have all these little regions on my little world map, and I need to give each one a custom coat of arms, like just a little simple shield. It's a little hard to see, but there's like a border on this. All right, so I've got a shader right over here already that like it's got a million different little coat of arms things in it. It's got a million different borders. You do all kinds of crazy stuff that's more for factions and stuff later on. You could do all these different colors. You could do weathering. You could do UV distortion to make them like a little all jagged with the painting, like they're slapdash. You get the idea. You can add crests on top for um, whatever. Um, I'll do that for like the actual factions. I'll do the crests. I'm not gonna do that just for regions. At least not for now. Maybe I'll come back and do it. But I've got 65 of these little zones, and I was like, oh, I gotta pick colors 65 times. I don't wanna. So I talked myself. I just ignored this problem for a while, and then I was like, no, I need to actually get this done. Um, so Unity now very helpfully has a custom render texture uh, thing that you can just make. Back back in the old days when we did Star Trek timelines, we had to like do this whole thing ourselves, and so I was preparing to do that like pain of set up a scene with a plane that has the material on it, and then a camera pointed at the thing, and render texture, and blah 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 blah. Right, all that nonsense. Like this is just here now. You could just plug a material into this thing and save it. And you could go up here to the little three dot thing and do export. I didn't know this was a new thing I came across. This used to be like a pain in the butt bit of editor code you had to kind of like whack together. All right. Um, so that's cool, but then I'd still have to go in here and like set up the material and then hit export and then set up the material and then hit export. And then I got to decide if I'm going to make like copies of these materials so that I can edit one in particular. Do you see my problem? So I went to if you have the Material Manager repo, which is free, you just have these things. I have all these handy ways with like the material collection to this isn't one, but you know what it looks like. Watch the other videos if you don't know what it looks like, where you can sort of change the properties of your materials from a scriptable object. Wouldn't it be great if I had a way to generate these things? So that's what I made. So now there's a new scriptable object. You get it at DWD, Custom Render Texture Randomizer. And it has child scriptable objects that work much the same way as the material collections. So you can supply the name, you choose the type, you supply the name, and then you put in your properties. You choose your output path. You can give it a seed so that it can be deterministic, right? So if you change this, it's gonna get wonky again. But you could regenerate them conceivably at like a different size or whatever and get all the same material results. There are cases where I thought it was useful enough that so it'll generate a random seed for you the first time it doesn't on validate. You choose the number you need to randomize, and then it will output for you oh, so many things. Now there's some real lemons in here, but like I'm not at the point where I super care, right? Even if this does like, 50 55 of them, and there's just like 10 that are especially fugly. But like that's quite nice. That's nice. That one's a little, that's okay. That was fine. Great. Sure. Also fine. Nah, not my favorite. But it's also believable. It's like a historically medieval thing. Sure, just a red one. That's terrible. Not my favorite either. Just kind of funky colors. It's a little too neon. That's great. Nope. Nope. Fine. I'll probably desaturate that a bit. You get the idea. I think it works. I think it's a thing. So I'm putting it in the material manager. I gotta do support for texture. I did all the other keywords. I didn't do texture. I mean, a lot of this problem is like coming down to picking like, complementary colors. So it'd be kind of nice. Like I could get cute with that and like, instead of just having a random color, be like random triad or, random complements, and you just feed it however many color property names, and then it picks the first color randomly and then offsets around the color wheel by X amount for each one. See what I mean? Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a thing. Not for today. For today, this is fine. But I may go do that at some point, or if somebody's feeling like they want to make a pull request or fork the thing. I think the map manager can be forked. I can't remember. If it can't and you want to do that, let me know. So there you go. What did I call this thing? Custom Render Texture Randomizer in the Material Manager, right? Like, I don't know, 15 minutes after I add texture support. Enjoy.